The lecture hall fell silent when the Vraxian's collar shattered. 23 alien students froze as crystalline shards tinkled across the polished floor. Professor Kelthera's 4 eyes widened in horror. The pacification collar, designed to suppress the violent instincts of apex predators, lay broken at the Vraxian's clawed feet. Jake Morrison didn't freeze. He kept typing notes on his datapad, barely glancing up at the commotion. "Nobody move," Kelthera whispered, her tentacles curling defensively. The Vraxian, a creature called Raxthor, stood 7 feet tall with midnight black scales and teeth that could puncture starship hull plating. His species had conquered 14 worlds before the Galactic Council forced them into civilization. The room held its breath. One Quellan student whimpered. Another activated an emergency beacon. Raxthor's serpentine tongue tasted the air. His muscles rippled beneath his scales as centuries of predatory instinct awakened. Every species in that room was prey. The Quellans with their soft shells. The Draviks with their hollow bones. The Zenthari who couldn't run faster than a light jog. Then there was the human. Jake Morrison, the only human in Nexus Academy's history. Earth's first exchange student to the stars. He sat in the 3rd row, strawberry blonde hair falling into his eyes, completely absorbed in translating Kelthera's lecture on quantum ethics. Raxthor's head swiveled toward him. Those predatory eyes locked onto the human with laser focus. "Everyone out," Kelthera commanded shakily. Slowly. "Don't trigger his hunt response." The students began edging toward the exits. But Jake remained seated, frowning at his screen. "Professor, I didn't catch that last part about the moral implications of Mr. Morrison." Kelthera's voice cracked with panic. "The Vraxian is loose." Jake looked up. His blue eyes met Raxthor's golden slits. The human blinked. "Oh. Hey, Rax." Collar finally gave out, "Huh. I told you those things were cheaply made." The lecture hall evacuated in seconds, leaving only Jake and the freed predator. The human stood, stretching. He was barely 6 feet tall, built lean like a distance runner. No claws. No scales. No natural weapons except those ridiculous endurance hunter traits his species was known for. Against a Vraxian warrior, he should have been dead meat. Raxthor snarled, a sound that rattled the windows. He took a step forward. Jake picked up his bag. "You coming to the cafeteria?" "I'm starving. They're serving those spicy Andromedan noodles today." The Vraxian's mind struggled to process this. Where was the fear sent? The prey run? This human should be running. Every instinct screamed that this was wrong. "I'm not afraid of you," Jake said calmly, heading for the door. "And you know why? Because we've been lab partners for 3 months, and you've helped me with my astrophysics homework at least a dozen times. You're not going to eat me." Raxthor's claws flexed. His tail lashed. The predator within him demanded blood, dominance, the thrill of the hunt. But something else stirred, something the collar had suppressed but never eliminated. Curiosity. This human was either incredibly stupid or incredibly brave. Or perhaps, something else entirely. Jake paused at the door. "Look, I get it. You're supposed to be this terrifying apex predator. Your species thrives on fear and dominance hierarchies. But here's the thing about humans, we're predators too. We just hide it better." He smiled, and there was something ancient in that expression. "We hunted mastodons to extinction. We chased prey for days until they collapsed from exhaustion. We're the only species that domesticated wolves, other apex predators, and turned them into pets. So yeah, you're scary, Rax. But you're not special." Raxthor's growl died in his throat. "Besides," Jake continued, "I've read your essays. You're brilliant. You think three-dimensionally about problems everyone else approaches linearly. You've got a wicked sense of humor, even if it's usually about dismembering enemies. And last week, you shared your lunch with that Zenthari kid who forgot his credits. The Vraxian's tail stopped lashing. So you can either give in to those predator instincts and prove everyone right about your species being irredeemable savages, or you can come get noodles with me and help me finish that group project. Your choice. Jake walked out. For a long moment, Raxthor stood alone in the empty lecture hall. His freedom was absolute. He could hunt. He could kill. He could reclaim the glory of his warrior ancestors. Instead, he followed the human to the cafeteria. By the time security arrived, weapons charged and combat drones deployed, they found Raxthor and Jake sitting at a corner table. The human was gesticulating wildly, explaining something about Earth's ocean currents. The Vraxian was listening intently, occasionally interjecting with questions. A bowl of spicy noodles sat between them, and they were sharing. "Stand down," Kelthora commanded the security team, her tentacles slack with disbelief. I don't understand. But Jake did. He'd read the psychological profiles. The Vraxian species wasn't just predators, they were pack hunters who valued loyalty and intellectual challenge above all else. The collars didn't just suppress their aggression, they suppressed everything that made them who they were. Raxthor caught Jake's eye across the table and made a sound that might have been Vraxian laughter. "You were right about the noodles. These are excellent." "Told you," Jake grinned. "Oh, and about that quantum ethics essay, I think if we approach it from a relativistic framework instead of an absolutist one, we can make a stronger argument." The Vraxian's eyes gleamed with interest. "Elaborate." Later that night, Jake sat at his desk in his dorm room, working on calculations. A shadow moved beneath his desk. Raxthor, who'd been following him around campus all day despite the administration's panic, had curled up in the space beneath the workspace. The predator's breathing had slowed to the rhythm of sleep. Jake smiled and kept working. Security would figure out what to do in the morning. For now, he had an apex predator sleeping at his feet like an oversized guard dog, and honestly, he felt safer than ever. Because humans understood something the galaxy had forgotten, predators don't need chains. They need purpose. They need respect. They need to be treated like the intelligent beings they are, not the monsters everyone fears they might become. And sometimes, they just need a friend who isn't afraid to share noodles.